The first writer that I know of in Greenville was Miss Carrie Stern, who was a school principal there, and Will Percy was a protege of hers. He's the first established writer from Greenville. Miss Carrie was a writer, but Will Percy was the first truly established writer. And it's the presence of Will Percy, I think, that accounts for the literary progress in Greenville. If Will Percy had been born in Clarksdale or Greenwood, it's entirely possible that Clarksdale or Greenwood would have been literary places. It's not that he ran a school of any kind or had a coterie of followers or anything like that. It was by example. If there's a man there who had written 2 or 3 books of poetry, you knew that it was possible to write a book of poetry, not theoretically, but actually somebody lived in that town had done it. So you believed you could do it too, and you could. Greenville, the joke was that more people writing books in Greenville than there are reading them. But Greenville produced at least 12 published authors between the years of, say, 1935 and 1955. That's a lot of writers from one little town. And it was a sort of tradition. I can tell you that the Union Army and the Union Navy did everything they could to pound it to pieces with the stuff they threw in here at civilians. They talk about Saddam Hussein and his terrorist tactics. You want to see terrorist tactics, you live in Vicksburg in May and June of 1863, you'll see terrorist tactics. They were shooting at men, women, and dogs, children. It was a fairly shameful performance, but it was perfectly natural for the time. That's what they did. But Vicksburg is interesting to contrast with Natchez. And that first upstream excursion by Farragut and Butler, when they got to Natchez, they trained the guns on the town and said, "Do you surrender?" after firing just a couple of shots. They said, "My God, we surrender. Don't shoot our beautiful houses. Please don't throw that stuff at us." So they surrendered. Butler marched ashore and took charge of Natchez without any trouble at all, a couple of stray shots. They came on up to Vicksburg, made exactly the same demand, and Vicksburg's response was, "Mississippians don't know how to surrender, and if you think you can teach us how, come try it." So a year or so later, they taught us how to surrender, but it took an awful lot of doing.